Good morning. How the devil are you doing this one day? Me, I'm excited to bring you another packed show, yet starting the new week even more tired than I finished the last one, but thanks for asking. However, today's show is rammed with jammy demolition goodness and construction goodness as well, and it's all topped with a sugar frosting. So without further ado, let's roll that intro and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Monday, the 13th of September, and as that ever-present guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, the HS2 project hits a major milestone. We take a closer and longer look at the latest addition to the Rye Group equipment fleet. We examine the questionable practice of ADBLUE deletion. And in preparation for its latest sale later this week, we will be attempting to go live to the Ritchie Brothers auction facility in Maltby. But before we do all of that, let's see who among the rich and the shameless is enjoying a birthday on this day of days.
Happy birthday!
It's many happy returns to Robinson Crusoe author Daniel Defoe and to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory author Roald Dahl, to heavy metal guitarist Dave Mustaine and to the man with the gold running shoes, Michael Johnson. Happy birthday also to Shane Warne, cricketer, and to fashion designer Stella McCartney. Happy birthday as well to legendary Italian footballer Fabio Cannavaro and to legendary German footballer Thomas Muller. Many happy returns to them, one and all. Now, before we get to the news, let's quickly attempt to throw over to our roving reporter Peter Haddock, who, if I'm not very much mistaken, is standing by at the Ritchie Brothers auction facility in Maltby.
Hi,
Good morning,
Mark.
Peter.
How are you doing? How are you doing today?
You're in a field of cranes by the looks of things.
Yes, Mark, it's unusual. This one behind me, you literally see a field of cranes that opens us up to the Ritchie Brothers auction. Bids are on right now, Mark, but they're closing tomorrow. I'm up here with my fellow compadre construction collective dude, Nick Drew, as well today. He's finding his gems. You know what he likes. He always likes to find some of the classics and some of the rarer, more interesting pieces. So we're up there today with Nick doing that. But yes, this is Ainscow cranes, a whole fleet of them that they've actually put through their refurbishment facility, and they're selling at the auction. So really unusual to see this amount of high quality cranes in an auction, particularly as it's a busy time out there in construction. So, you know, lots of really excitement around this. So I thought we'd start off on the runway, as it were. Well, you know, where people would normally see things driving through, but we're online only at the moment. And so, you know, what I want to do, Mark, is go and try and find some other stuff and pop back in later on. I've got Nick Drew hunting as we speak for some more interesting bits and bobs, and we might get amongst the excavators and things like that. But, you know, it's another sign that there's some really good stuff to be had in the auctions at the moment. And I think people are crying out for kit out there. I know there's a couple of nice ADTs from Volvo in the auction today. So those people that can't find the quite young machines that they need for load and haul at the moment, yeah, there's some units there as well. And obviously the usual suspects, but not so usual, the cranes.
Fantastic. Peter, you go off and try and find us some more gems. Ideally, what I'd like is a nice high-reach excavator or a nice array of attachments. If you can't find those, find us another gem. We'll come back to you a bit later on.
Okay, mate. Take it easy. Ta-da.
Cheers. It's a project that's been plagued with controversy since long before the first shovel was placed in the ground. Environmentalists would tell you that it's unnecessary and a blot on the British landscape, but from an engineering and construction standpoint, it's a project that is driving innovation and, just as importantly, driving skills and employment. I'm talking, of course, about the HS2 high-speed rail project. That project is today celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the official start of construction, although obviously a great deal of demolition and preparatory work took place way before that. It really is impossible to overstate the magnitude and the importance of HS2. It's generated billions of pounds worth of new construction contract awards. It's created some 20,000 jobs, either directly or within the project supply chain. It's supported more than 650 apprenticeships, and it's expected that a further £25 billion worth of new business will be generated over the coming years. So, with all that being said, let's take a look back over an astonishing first year for HS2. That project may be controversial, it may be running over budget, and it may be exacerbating the industry-wide material shortage, but there can be no denying that HS2 is a once-in-a-lifetime project, a project that has continued to deliver positivity even through the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
Now, if you were here on Friday, you might recall that we brought you a sneak preview of a new film we were working on with the fine folks at Rye Group. You might also recall that the company has just taken delivery of 3 new Caterpillar excavators that will run exclusively on HVO fuel to support Rye Group's Sustainable Standard initiative. Well, as promised, the full-length film is now finished and it's ready to lay before your eye holes. Some people produce demolition video clips. We make films. As I mentioned on Friday's show, Rye Group has made the switch to HVO fuel supplied by New Era Fuels. The Green D Plus fuel is made from used cooking oil that has been supplemented with an organic additive. HVO reduces carbon emissions by 90% and NOx emissions by 30%. So hats off to Rye Group for making this major step and for once again setting the sustainable standard. Now, while Rye Group is looking to reduce emissions, there are apparently some that will happily allow emissions to belch into the atmosphere. In fact, they will even deploy sketchy third-party software to allow them to do so. Have you ever heard the expression ADBLUE deletion? I must confess that up until this weekend, I certainly hadn't, but after a little digging, it appears that it's a practice that is remarkably widespread and even more remarkably transparent. So what is ADBLUE deletion? Well, according to the website of one of its practitioners, ADBLUE delete software completely disables the ADBLUE element of an engine's management system, effectively unplugging the NOx sensors and SCR module. The company's website cites a recent case in which a power screen crusher powered by a Caterpillar C7 engine was in limp mode and an audible engine alert was being sounded. The company identified the cause as the ADBLUE sensor. But rather than topping up the ADBLUE, the company used ADBLUE delete software to fool the engine into thinking that all was now well. There is so much that I have question marks about over this. First of all, surely this software would void the warranty on the engine or even the whole machine. Secondly, ADBLUE is an integral part of the emissions reductions process. Disabling the sensors that manage this merely turns a clean engine into a dirty one. And perhaps worst of all, this sketchy practice affords companies with a competitive advantage. While most companies are paying for ADBLUE to minimize their environmental impact, others are cheating the system, allowing them to claim that they are cleaner than they really are, while spending nothing on ADBLUE. What I find even more astonishing than this is just how widespread and seemingly open this practice actually is. Before I came on air this morning, I typed ADBLUE delete UK into Google, and I got almost 90,000 results, all of which just goes to prove, regardless of what checks and balances are put in place, there are always some out there that will do their very best to work their way around them.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Now, as you saw at the top of the show, the fine folks at Ritchie Brothers will once again throw open the doors at its rejuvenated Maltby facility as the company hosts the latest of its massive plant and equipment auctions this week. We are hoping that by the miracle of the internet, we'll be able to rejoin our roving reporter, Peter Haddock, who is still roaming about the Maltby facility this morning ahead of that sale. While we're making that connection, here's a very quick preview of what this sale has on offer. Hello again, Peter.
Mark. Hi, Mark. We're back as requested. We've come and found some attachments, my friend, and I have also found some information for you. I'm going to walk to the side here. You can see this one. Might be able to see a little chappie in the background called Nick Drew, who's taking some pictures for you as well. But I found out about this particular attachment behind me. It's the 2012 VTN FP30 rotating pulverizer attachment, the big one you see right there, Mark. And I found all that information on the Ritchie Brothers app. Actually borrowed Nick Drew's phone. The notifications have been going crazy ever since I've had it. But it's year 2012, and you get all of this information and lots of pictures on the app itself. So it's got that full range of photographs you can have a look at, because obviously if you're online bidding, you want to be able to check it all out. So yeah, loads and loads of attachments, buckets, various different grapples, etc., all here at the Ritchie Brothers auction. And I hope you can see behind us the sea of excavators. There's no high reach excavator in the auction this time, Mark, but there's certainly a sea of excavators behind us as well. So again, you can find all of that rbauction.co.uk or on the app. And I'm going to put Nick's phone in my pocket because I'm super clumsy. So it's really great to see, you know, everything from the cranes to the excavators, and of course those attachments and smaller things like generators I'm stood next to that are in front of me right now. You know, you get all sorts of things at the auction, and you know, you can even get some of the smaller items they keep inside, like power tools and hand power tools to help maintain the fleets as well that you're going to be looking at. So that's what we're going to be looking at soon. Nick's going to be doing some finding out. We're going to be pumping some more videos out today from my channels, Peter Haddock and Content with Media, and from Nick Drew Media and Nick Drew's channels on Instagram, etc. So another live experience for us, Mark. Thanks very much for having us on again. I think it's going to pour down with rain any minute, but I think we've survived it for today.
Just before you get hit by the deluge, Peter, just a very quick question. We've heard, obviously, that lots of the major manufacturers, including the likes of JCB, have basically sold their production for the rest of the year. So things like excavators are in pretty short supply, aren't they?
Yeah, they certainly are. There's a couple of issues out there, Mark, at the moment. One seems to be with ADTs, because obviously you've mentioned it at the start of your show. HS2 has sucked in a huge amount of the UK Earthworks PLC fleet of ADTs. And so there's a lot of projects out there. We're seeing the bringing back of scrapers as well on that particular project, but there's lots of other warehouse projects as people move to online shopping and things like that, Mark, all over the place. So these particular units are in high demand, and we've got a whole range of excavators here, but there's some of the larger ones are right behind me in the distance. And I think, you know, what you've got to look at is actually having the ability to get something that you can get in the auction, buy it tomorrow, bidding starts already, and then basically get that from here quite quickly onto site and onto your projects. And I know there's a lot of people that are really struggling right now, because we know that JCB has sold its entire inventory that it's for the rest of the year. And it's similar, you know, it's actually, and people like that are saying double the amount of sales in the UK. There's been record-breaking deals left, right and centre, and all we see on social media right now is fortunately the delivery of these things going out. But there's still a big backlog, and people are waiting for those key pieces of equipment. And so the thing to remember, Mark, is go and buy something at auction, even if you just need it for 6 months or whatever, or a few months to do a specific project, then put it back in the auction and sell it again. The residual values are probably not even going to change that much. So in some cases, you know, you're going to get a machine, work it, obviously you've got to maintain it, but work it for a few months and put it back in the auction, and it's done that job, you know. And so there's lots of different ways in which you can approach buying equipment when there's a shortage. And obviously it's not just auctions. There's a thing called Marketplace E with Ritchie Brothers, where it's an always on kind of platform. I guess you can look at it sort of like eBay, whereby you can go and bid on machines or buy now sort of scenario. And so then you can get some of the larger equipment and newer equipment that people choose to put through that particular sale. And of course, don't forget, folks, as well as a lot of this equipment is probably going to be exported, but their ability now is to import, and there are big sales for Ritchie Brothers in the Moerdijk in the Netherlands, which literally you can then get the stuff imported straight from there into the UK. So, you know, we always talk about UK going out, but actually we've been seeing from the Ritchie Brothers team, you know, Europe coming in, because we're so busy in the UK.
That's fantastic. It's a great problem to have. If we're short of excavators, it proves that the industry is busy. Peter, before I send you on your way, get out of the rain, and thanks for joining us. And I shall speak to you again later, no doubt.
Thanks very much, Mark. It's been great again to come onto the show. Really enjoyed the show as well today. Great to see about HS2. Also great to see that you are putting those issues out there, like the ADBLUE issue. I think that's a disgrace. People using that when they're actually sort of in low emission zones potentially. You know, we've got to be better custodians of our environment, and I think cheating is not fair to any business that's actually doing things right.
Well said, Peter. I'll let you get on with your day.
Bye-bye.
Well, that pretty much wraps up this morning's show. I will roll the outro in just a second before hopping over into the chat to see what you've all got to say for yourselves today. I'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for yet more of this old stuff and nonsense. But for the time being, stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. And thanks for watching.